So I'm always applying to jobs, and it's not because I don't like where I'm at. I do. I actually really like it. And it's not because I'm desperate. I'm not. I have lots of opportunities that always fall into my lap. It's because I learned the hard way that the best way to be looking for a job is when you have a job and you're happy. No employer has your back the way you think they do. No matter what they say, no matter what the corporate speak is, no matter what the culture is, they don't have your back. If you're sitting there thinking, I'll just work hard and they'll take care of me, well, that might work out, but I'd recommend that you do a little bit more to put your career in your own control. Hey, it's Candice Quinn with Contract Tag, and today we're going to be talking about something that makes everyone a little bit uncomfortable, applying for jobs while you are still with an employer and still happy with that employer. This isn't about being disloyal, it's about being smart, because no one is going to have your back like you do. Today, I'm going to share 5 things that I do to make sure that I am always ready to make a move if the right one pops up. Here's what they don't tell you in law school. Your employer is not your friend, it's not your family. This is a business relationship. You provide something to the employer, and in return, they provide you with a salary and benefits. Your employer is a business, and if the budget gets tight or if priorities change, well, you're no longer part of the family. I mean, that's a real possibility, and it's happened to me and lots of other attorneys. I don't care how many hours you build, how many deals you single-handedly closed, how many late nights or long weekends you worked. None of that matters when the firm's priorities or budget changes and you're on the chopping block. When it comes down to it, they're going to do what's best for the business, and you need to be prepared to do what's best for you. The problem is most attorneys get comfortable, and that actually holds true for most employees everywhere in the United States. We get pretty comfortable because we are fed this line of your employer is like family, and is this a good culture fit? And we forget that our employer doesn't actually think about if we can put Thanksgiving dinner on our table or not. So once an employee gets comfortable, they stop updating their resume, they might slow down at networking, they're not looking at job ads or paying attention to market compensation rates, they're definitely not applying and interviewing for positions. And then boom, one day, layoffs. You walk into work with a job and you walk out of work with security next to you and saying your things will be mailed to you. And what do you do then? You are now in a place of emotional turmoil, you are stressed, you're scared, you're worried, and you have to go home and start putting into place all of these things to start a job search when you weren't prepared to do that. Your interviewing skills are rusty, you don't have a pulse on the market of compensation or positions or what firms are hiring or even what firms you might want to go to. You've lost your edge. And that was me a couple of times, and it doesn't feel fun. And it doesn't feel fun, but it's also not fun. So here's what I do all of the time to make sure that I am always prepared to make the right move if I need to or want to. I'm always in the market, not because I'm unhappy, but because it's in my best interest to know what the market is, what is opening, what is not opening, and what could my potential options be if I needed or wanted to leave. And let me be clear, this is not about being shady or sneaky. If that business found the star attorney and they were willing to join, they would cut you for the star attorney. That's just how business works. And guess what? Your business, whether it's in-house, a firm, whatever it is, they're also monitoring the market. They're keeping an eye on their competition. They're keeping an eye on how they can leverage opportunities. They're doing it. So run your career like a little mini business, because that's what it is. And keep your eye on all of these things. Okay, so here comes the tactical part. What does this actually look like? What are the 5 things that I am always doing to make sure that I am staying sharp? First, I always keep my resume and LinkedIn updated. That doesn't just mean when I change jobs. It means accomplishments, it means projects and deals that have closed. I add them to my LinkedIn all of the time. And it's not just my LinkedIn, I also keep my resume updated and revised with all of my current accomplishments. Take 5 minutes and future self will thank you, because if that bad moment hits, I won't say when because I hope it doesn't, but if that bad moment hits and you're walking out the door with no job, you need to know that you can go home and take some time to get your mental health back together, but your resume and your LinkedIn are ready to go. Second, I network consistently, not just desperately. So I'm always reaching out to see if people want to have coffee. I'm always reaching out with articles or information that I think might be helpful to someone that I know know or I've met. I'm reaching out to past classmates to talk with them, find out how they're doing, how their families are. I'm keeping in touch and I'm keeping up to date. So I'm not out there like looking for business. I'm not out there like, hey, do you have any openings? I'm just keeping in touch. And that goes such a long way, because when you reach out when you do really need something, those people are going to be so much more likely to go a little bit further to see if they can help you in any way. I also apply and take interviews when I'm not even looking. So whether a recruiter calls me or I just happen to see a posting for a position that I think would be really interesting, I am going to apply and I am going to, go through the interview process if I'm selected. I'm going to hear the details. I'm going to find out if this could be a good move for me. Just because I'm happy where I am doesn't mean I couldn't be happier somewhere else. And this also helps me keep my interview skills sharp, and I always feel comfortable knowing what types of things to ask, what the general process is for interviewing right now, because that does change over time. Right now, it's a very long process, which I'm going to do a video about that soon, but right now it's a very long process, sometimes up to 7 or 8 steps. And knowing that helps me ask the questions like, what does this process look like before I get into it? Because if I don't, I might get stuck in a process that is for a job that I'm not really interested in. Fourth, I stay aware of market trends and rates. So I pay attention to the firms that are hiring. I pay attention to what people in my area of law are making and the different moves other people are making strategically for their career, so that I have a general idea of what the market looks like in my geographic area, in my practice area at any given point in time. And I'm not talking about doing this obsessively. I'm talking about spending 30 minutes a week just scrolling through LinkedIn, seeing some of the moves people made, seeing some of the jobs that are posted. It's really just a casual search to keep me informed about what is going on. I will also openly share my salary with anyone who asks, and I will ask people their salary. I don't get offended if they won't respond to me or, want to keep that private, of course. But I do believe in pay transparency, and I believe that when employees come together and share their salaries, it gives us power against the employer. We can know if we're underpaid, we can make a move because we are underpaid, and having that information is really golden. And fifth and finally, I don't feel guilty about any of this. And this one's really important. I'm sure some of you are sitting there right now feeling really weird about this. Like, I love my employer. I love my boss. Like, I just got this job. Like, I shouldn't be still looking and applying. But you're not a bad employee for doing this. You owe this to yourself, to your family, your loved ones that depend on you and the money that you make. You can be great at your job and still be ready to leave or still be looking at your options. In fact, knowing that you do have options can actually make you a better employee, because then you're there by choice, not because you have to be. In fact, if any of my reports weren't doing this, I would absolutely recommend for them to do it. And when a report does leave me, I celebrate that. If they found a better opportunity, something that makes them more happy, that is great. I celebrate everyone's success because I think that part of their success is also part of mine as a manager. In other words, I want the people that report to me to succeed. I want them to get better opportunities than I can offer them. That's great. I did a great job when that happens. Now, I know what you're thinking. Candice, isn't this disloyal? Like, this just gives me a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. But show me one employer that wouldn't lay you off if they needed to. I'll wait.
A few moments later.
Yeah, that's what I thought. There's not one. There's not any. They have all done it, or they will do it when it serves their best interests. I've been there right before Thanksgiving, right before I was ready to leave on vacation. I thought I was doing my out of office memo meeting with my boss, and I got laid off. That was not fun. Not a fun vacation, not a fun holiday, and I was not prepared for this at all. There was no heart, no empathy from the business. Just, here's the bottom line. Your role's eliminated. And if you think that you don't have enough time to stay up to date and do these 5 tips, well, you're wrong. You don't have time not to do it. This is your career, your livelihood. You need to be in control of it and making sure it goes in the direction that you want it to go in. Scrambling when you're forced to leave is not a good look for anyone. It's not fun. And you might say, but I'm really happy where I am, and that's great. No one says you have to leave. This is just keeping your finger on the pulse of what is happening. Because if it changes, or when it changes and you're not happy where you you will be so thankful that you have already prepared most of the hard parts of looking for a job. And here's the real secret. Once you adopt this approach, it's a real mindset shift. It changes everything. You stop being afraid. You stop being worried about that weird invitation on your calendar, like, is this a layoff meeting? Every email from the CEO won't feel like they're about to do another round of layoffs. You can also stop tolerating nonsense because you can't leave. And if you find that right position, you'll negotiate better because you know your worth. You're able to set boundaries when you aren't desperate, which is good for your mental health and also your work-life balance if that's important to you. You get to make career decisions from a position of power rather than panic. It's about treating your career like the 30 to 40 year marathon it is, rather than a short jaunt in the woods. Each job is not meant to be 30 to 40 years. That just doesn't exist anymore. So here's your homework. I want you to update your resume this week. Just add your current job if it's not on there, or add a current accomplishment if your current position's on your resume. Just take one step to get ready to be prepared if you needed to make a move very quickly. And if a recruiter emails you, just take the call. What do you have to lose? Nothing except a little bit of time, and you can always end the conversation if it's just not ever going to be a right fit. If you're actively in the market to make a move right now, check out my free lateral move decision matrix. The link to download is in the pinned comment and the description below. It will help you objectively decide if a move is right for you or not. And if you're just looking for ways to generally level up your career, let's chat. Schedule a call with me. The link is in the pinned comment and the description below as well. I am always happy to talk through different goals and strategize with you and see if you might be a good fit for my coaching program. Bye for now, hackers.